I got you another great cliche. What's up, Lee Pike? You are the hero of your own story. All right, we're gonna get this audio situation all figured out today for this video. All right, we're gonna get this audio sitch fixed. I've got 4 different recording. Okay. All right, we're gonna get this audio. Damn it. Perhaps I will also turn them on. Hello? Okay. All right. Okay. They're all giving me input. So I think that they're all recording. This is take 4 of trying to do this. All right. So in order to try to figure out what the frick is wrong with my audio, I'm going to read an excerpt from the rousing Free Range Chicken Gardens by author Jesse Bloom. And we're going to compare the quality of the audio between the 4 different recording devices that I'm using. So this is an excerpt called Naughty Hens. New chicken owners are often surprised by their hens and can be easily frustrated by behavior they do not understand. Chickens are social and hormonal creatures. And when we have them living in ways that are different from how they would live naturally, they are prone to behaviors that can be damaging to themselves or that are simply normal but just catch us off guard. Who else feels like there's a motivational video in that paragraph somewhere? Maybe in the future. So let's take a look at all of them. I'm gonna figure out which one I like best, and then I am gonna make the rest of this video based on that.
Is this ASMR? I'll take things that are creepy for 1,000, Alex. It's like angel whispers.
Who's that guy? I don't know. Sounds like some Cajun to me. Bruh. Coming. Oh shoot, y'all!
Yeah.
Ah, look at me! You are the hero of your own story. Maybe you're familiar with the ideas of Joseph Campbell and the monomyth, or some of the psychological theories of Carl Jung and the archetype. And maybe not. Maybe you're like, what is this video? I'm not going to go into those topics here. They take hours just to scratch the surface. But I will post some videos down below if you're interested. But the ideas that they lay out have been the keys to my success, and they could be the keys to yours. When I was growing up, before I even knew that there were such things as psychological theories, back when I was your age, I realized that I needed to come up with a way to overcome some serious adversity. At that point in my life, I was faking stomach aches to cover anxiety, and I was incessantly playing video games with friends. My favorite games at the time were epic stories along the lines of Lord of the Rings. The undisputed 2 best games of all time, the original Legend of Zelda and Final Fantasy III, were the games of the day for us. Obviously. Let's be clear that you would only dispute their superiority if you were of poor moral character. Both start with an inexperienced kid living just a mundane life. Oh, here's a quest. And at the same time, I was reading epic fantasy trilogies like the Dragonlance series, and they always start with either an unknown person who ends up becoming great, or someone who's in a horrible situation that has to find their way out of it. So this is the milieu that I find myself in when all of a sudden I'm dealing with things that I have no experience with and no background about how to handle. Some of them are just consequences of being alive. Nothing anybody could have done about it. Some of them are of my own doing, and some of them are things that other people thrust upon me. So when I started encountering these hard situations, my thoughts were always that everyone around me already knows who I am. They already know what I did to put myself into these situations, and there's no way that I can go forward. They already knew my weaknesses. My excuse was that they were gonna do whatever they could to look at those weaknesses and not let me climb out of my situation. I really thought that I could never overcome these problems. Eventually I became desperate for a way to be able to move forward. And so I turned my attention back to these video games and books that I'm spending all of my time in. So I thought, hey, at the beginning of these stories that I love, there is always someone that has no hope for the future. And when you're playing the game or reading the story, they have to start you somewhere. So they just plop you down right in the middle of this person's life. You don't know who anybody is, but you as the reader have no concept of what the relationships are, how you're supposed to be reacting. You just kind of have to wait and see what happens. You just kind of fake the story until you familiarize yourself enough with what's going on, until finally you just start feeling like you are in the story. And then you become this great person through all these trials. So I thought, I literally have nothing to lose. I have the choice to pretend I'm in one of these stories, or to stay stuck like I am with no control over my present or my future. So I began practicing this exercise that whenever I found myself in a situation that I either didn't know how to get out of or felt like I had no hope for the future, I would pretend that this character that I was maybe had done something to put themselves into this horrible situation that there was no way out of. I would pretend that this character that I was playing in my real life just had to start from whatever starting point they were given and make the choices that would move them forward. Then I had to make the decisions that were going to allow me to become a hero and slay the dragon. And doing that over and over and over was how I allowed myself to move forward from situations that I was trapping myself in, and to grow as a person. So there have been many times that I have lost the magic and the wonder of my story. I've lost a friend and believed it was my fault. I've lost friends, and it was my fault. I've taken tests and convinced myself that I've failed with no score and believed that I was way in over my head. I've had breakups. I've lost loved ones in tragedy. I have believed that the mundane world is all that's offered to me. But restarting this practice has been what's allowed me to just put one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward. So through this process, I've learned that the big bad guy in your life is not what's keeping you down. That's the easy part. By the time you get to the boss fight, you've already won it. Everyone wants that battle. They crave the victory. They want these huge gestures that prove how courageous and committed you are to your cause. Mentally, it's easy to kill the dragon. You know that that's a bad guy. It's easy to fly to a foreign country and aid in disaster relief. It's easy to volunteer in the soup kitchen on Thanksgiving. Not at all because those things are easy, but because the reward that comes with those things, in the feelings that you get from altruism, in the reactions to the people around you that you love, and the ability to look back at yourself and say, see, I am a good person. That's what makes those things easy. It is incredibly difficult to stop yourself from yelling at a coworker or gossiping about a coworker when everyone else is doing it. It's tough to stop yourself from becoming bitter about the toothpaste that your spouse doesn't wash out of the sink. It's tough to go through another day at a job that you don't feel passionate about. And those places are where we lose the magic. That is where we lose the big battle. It's in the preparation. We've learned from tons of motivational speakers that we're the hero of our own story. But who's the villain? Is it really Voldemort or Darth Vader? Not at all. The real villain is practicing the simple spells that are so boring. It's spending hours practicing the lightsaber without the epic music, with failure after failure. It's melancholy, it's indifference, it's apathy, it's the story, it's the book. The villain is you. If you like this video, please hit the like button and leave me a comment about ways that you've been able to overcome adversity in your life and stay motivated. If you found this video interesting and would like to follow along with my review of the hero's journey, hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you know whenever there's a new video posted. As always, this has been so much fun. Thank you for stopping by. I can't wait to see you next time. Cajun words with Dr. Pike. Lagnac. I thought the crawfish was finished, but when we put that slap yo mama on it, that was a little bit of lagnac.